Good evening, and welcome to another scene in Odessa the Dark Crusade Season 2. This evening, we find ourselves at the estate of one of the noble families in Odessa, that of House Montfort, which has gathered its resources in order to throw a magnificent gala. I'm sure something to do with the great success of Odessa and the rebounding of from the dark times. Now the bourgeoisie can get together and have itself a nice little party. I am certain that the place is relatively packed, considering the improved position that the noble house has gained over the trials and tribulations of the plague and thereafter. And yeah, Gerard is present in his best finery, no armor this evening, and is doing his best to be personable.
But Gerard, in these fine halls, in this most illustrious of places, is not alone. His colleague, whatever you want to call their precision to one another, is the person that he knows, Madeline, is also there. She is quite ravishing, as normal. She's also wearing her finest clothing. Thus far, the soiree has just started. The guests are just arriving, and people who know each other from before are obviously talking, but Madeline has yet to begin to mingle. Truly, she has spoken with people, and being her usual open self, has been talking to people, making sure that everyone has enough drink, enough food, to make themselves as comfortable as possible. She is, however, perhaps a bit, I wouldn't say reserved, but intrigued to see this part of the city that she rarely bothers with. And this is many, including Gerard's avenue. And she does respect his friends, his people. She won't butt in that much as she would in other places, but she is making herself busy.
Is you two are you walking together, or are you some distance? Actually, it's a good question to ask.
I would imagine that they are separated.
Okay.
Yes.
May I ask, because this is actually relevant to both of you, are there any mirrors in this place?
Do you see any mirrors in this place, sir?
I don't know. You organized it.
Yeah, but it's your picture.
I mean, I think the windows reflect the light decently.
There are curtains down. Come on now.
They hold the lower half.
Sorry. That's awesome. Sorry.
You can still see part of the window is uncovered.
Madeline is in the middle of the room. As many people around her and as few reflective surfaces near her as possible.
Considering this is a Montfort soiree, I doubt that there are mirrors just hanging about in the ballroom.
Good. I would hope so, considering that neither of you give off reflections.
Word.
But yes, as you're both walking around, you're both kind of mingling with people. Gerard, you have an easier time with it. The people love you. You're quite... you yourself aren't necessarily a figure of great importance, but the people you know are. And you are, even if you had a proxy organized this, you would be able to claim some credit. So you're being considered almost like some sort of secondary host, like someone to talk to after actually introducing themselves to the main host of the affair.
I'm a shadowy benefactor.
Mm-hmm. And people love to talk to shadowy benefactors. Strange how that works. You, on the other hand, Madeline, aren't really a known figure. Which acts like something of a double-edged sword for you. People are quite curious to get to know you, as they've never seen you before, and are very interested in knowing who you are, where you come from, what family you are from, who you're connected to, and if not, who, if any, among the priesthoods you might work under.
Madeline will let everyone know who asks, who are interested, that she is a very long-time friend of Gerard. This is actually very, very true. Although she doesn't specify how long, for obvious reasons.
Is Gerard known to the nobility? Does he use an alias?
If he does, I'm quite certain I would have been informed about that beforehand.
Gerard probably isn't like he doesn't himself usually deal in these sorts of affairs. So, but yeah, as Madeline said, I mean, I'm sure that he would inform her in case it comes up. That's an important thing.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair. As you continue to socialize, people they dig a little bit, these nobles. They do love their gossip. They love to make conversation. Not that there's really that much to do. Otherwise, they do actually ask you how long you've known him. After all, the good sir is an insightful figure of the court.
Yes, I know this. I have known him since I was a very young, some would say, girl. He holds himself well these nights and days. It is curious. It is wondrous that he holds himself so well. But bear in mind that Madeline does look like she's 22, 21, 23, something like that.
Yeah, she looks like she's quite young.
So it's not that long, but yeah.
I won't make you roll perception empathy. There is this slight eyebrow quirk from one of them when you say, when you say nights and kind of transition to and days. I seem quite curious as to your connection to Gerard, but don't get too much time to pry further as everybody is called to a dance, courtly dance. Which, if you wish, you can partake. If not, you don't have to. I assume Gerard definitely does not, because it's Gerard. But
what? Excuse me,
sir. I do believe that it's slander.
I mean, do you?
check my character sheet real fast.
Does he have any performance?
No.
I do actually have 2 in performance.
In dance?
In singing.
That's not dancing.
So, so you have to level up each performance by themselves?
It's called areas of expertise. Or fields of expertise, I think the game calls them.
Wow, okay.
Getting them is very cheap. Anyway. If you have no dots in dance, you don't really have to. You're not obligated to. You are given the offer. But if not...
Is it a really, really ugly guy who asks Madeline? Or is it just more call, so it's everyone that just gets in and dances?
Let me roll your chance die. Okay, no, it's a quite... Actually, you got an 8, so it's a very handsome-looking gentleman.
And she is less inclined, actually. Can I use my athletics?
Of the hosting family line of Montfort.
Can I use athletics, or is it just pure dex?
It's pure dexterity. If you don't have performance, it'll be +1 difficulty as well.
Wow. Okay.
I will do it as well.
And
I will spend a willpower point.
And I will spend a blood point for dex.
Okay.
Oh, read them and weep. 2 successes.
Ah. Ah. 2 successes as well.
We got this shit.
Yeah, you dance to a suitable standard. It's nothing groundbreaking. You don't exactly draw a lot of attention to yourselves, but there you go. Gerard, when your dance partner takes your hand, she quite obviously notices your extremely cold touch. And actually says to you, "Sir, are you well? You seem ever so frigid."
I must admit, my lackluster skill on the ballroom floor has left me frozen in fear.
I must say, you do look rather pale. Perhaps it would be wise if you visited the local apothecary tomorrow.
I thank you for your concern. I shall have to do that then.
We wouldn't want the best and brightest of Odessa coming down with a cold now, would we?
Well, considering all of the horrific disease that has afflicted the city, you are certainly correct.
Well, that turns her off ever so slightly because it reminds her, oh, you know, you might actually have disease. Ew, gross. That might kill her, but she largely
No,
hides it.
disease is gone. It's fine.
She's a dead woman. But Madeline, your dance partner too. Oh no, you don't. You have blusher health. You fit in just fine here. So yeah, unlike Gerard, who comes across as very pale and cold to the touch, Madeleine, you're not warm, but you don't stick out.
Madeline just
Oh, I totally forgot. We can spend blood to give us blush of health.
You can give yourself blusher health, although you can't increase your body temperature due to the touch of frost.
Right, but I mean, like, for all other intents and purposes.
Yeah, you can
not
you
looking
can
pale.
you can simulate a heartbeat and healthy skin color and the like.
Madeline will thank her partner, dance partner, for guiding her through this. She feels safe in his hands. And she will thank him and thank him also for his family having hosted this wonderful soiree.
He is quite receptive, being as astonishingly beautiful as you are, and hope that the two of you might talk further later this evening.
Oh, she's quite curious. What do you mean? Exactly. What did you think? Do you have a place that you would wish to talk, and what exactly would you like to speak about? She is trying to play very, very dumb. Do I need to roll for that?
I mean, if you're trying to lead him on, yeah, roll appearance subterfuge.
Poor sucker.
Yay, food.
2 successes.
You're very, very pretty. That more or less substitutes any need for tact, at least in this situation. But yes, it's he wishes to.
I'm mostly fishing because I want to know what bullshit excuse he's going to use. That's.
Oh, he generalizes the fuck out of it.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
It's like various endeavors.
While we're dancing, I would like to use heightened senses to just sort of keep an ear to the room and see if any tidbits of, buzzwords comes to ear. We are looking for devil people.
Yeah, you can do that. Is Madeleine doing anything similar or different? Is she scanning people's auras using her own heightened senses?
She will. She would just talk to, I suppose she's done that by now. She needed some time to establish that she isn't just standing and staring at people in the corner, because that would be weird. But since she has used some time now I do believe she will begin to activate on the crowd. She will activate aura perception. So that would be a perception empathy roll, but -2 dice due to aspects.
-2 diff.
Yeah, minus 2 diff.
And another thing I should. Are you looking to scan an individual's aura or everybody's?
Everybody's, to see if there's anything that stands out to begin with.
Okay.
as in if there's someone in here who is like distinctly different.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2.
It should be 3. You got a 6, an 8, and a 10.
Oh, right, 3. Yes, I forgot my own minus the diff. Right.
And Gerard, if you just want to roll your perception alertness, it will be difficulty 7 because there's a lot of people having a lot of conversations with a -1 diff from your heightened senses. So it'll be diff 6. Ooh, that was a good roll.
Dang.
We'll start with Madeleine. Madeleine, you're browsing people's auras. It can get quite hard to view people's auras in crowds.
Mm-hmm.
You normally have to generalize what you're looking for to get a feel of the crowd rather than hunting down individuals, just because auras, when packed tightly together, kind of tend to mingle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not, and they're somewhat, they're very translucent things. So it can be difficult to get a read on individuals, other than for the most basic states of being or emotions.
Mm.
You haven't got 3 successes. So you do spot a couple of things. The first will be this woman.
Ah, an elf. Sorry.
Stop. You see that her aura is largely human, but has pale blotches, much like a canite in it. You recognize that this implies that she is a ghoul of some kind. You actually see a couple of other figures as well, who appear to be ghouls. Looks like Gerard at least got some fish in the net, as it were. The second thing you notice is a rather, everyone here is well dressed, but a well dressed man in a fairly bright white clothing. His aura appears somewhat shredded. It's actually very difficult to read, if at all. Don't really know what this man is feeling. You're not even sure if they're human, because you've never seen an aura like this before. It's kind of all cut up into little fragments. It's almost like broken glass.
That is interesting. That will pique her curiosity. What is his demeanor? Is he like holding court and talking to everyone, or is he minding his
He
own
appears to
business?
be a figure of he's mingling people in a friendly fashion. Roll perception empathy, or perception etiquette. Perception etiquette or perception politics, whatever is your highest.
Perception etiquette. I have 2 successes.
He appears to be an authority figure, and people are somewhat deferent to him. They appear to be approaching him as if they were lesser in some fashion.
Madeline will keep an eye
Perhaps
on
he's simply a more prominent noble. Or
But
maybe
he
he
will.
holds some sort of official position within the city government.
Madeline will make her way over and find Gerard at some point.
Gerard.
Yes.
You begin to increase the potency of your senses. It's a bit of a distracting experience, to be honest, because there's so many conversations being held. It can be a little bit loud in here, particularly with the music, that bloody viola string. Goddess, yeah, it's just like screeching in your ears. Like, no, thank you. But you do hear several conversations, most of which are fairly mundane. There's several men and women from various houses sort of just having a fairly subdued conversation regarding their concerns about House Orbellion and their rather overt overtures to the Watch and the Regency as of late. And subtly suggesting what a shame it is that they are upsetting the established social order with petty bribery towards city officials. A very serious crime indeed. You also have a conversation regarding your own house. Some minor disdain from a petty noble and his colleagues. Butler approaches and asks him for a drink. He just kind of whisks him away with his wrist. Thirdly, you get some. You pick up on the conversation about the recent flooding from a few weeks ago, about a month ago. Apparently, a certain figure among one of the figures of the family of Rochi has had some new attendees, new visitors. He seems to peer around and says he doesn't see them at this court, but he heard they recently received some relatives from abroad, and were for some reason quite curious about the recent travesties that have hit the city, the flood and plague in particular when he last met with them. He found it quite almost somewhat disturbing. He recounts them being quite not impolite, but rather sickly. He did not deign to touch them at all. Well, he does not wish to contaminate the court with either the disease that is whatever disease they may have carried, or the disease of impropriety, as to approach him in such a way he found concerning, but perhaps it is perhaps it is simply some sort of condition or curse they've been bestowed with. Hopefully, it has. He hopes to have little more to do with them, and will
And
avoid
so,
them if at all possible.
and so this is talk of House Roshi.
Rochi, yes. The fourth one is about it is rather a bit of ladies' gossip, remarking about one of the regencies in a circle. One of the regent's chancellors. If I can just get his name up. Neural just kind of peering on at him. Sharif Bolos. A man very well dressed in white, who appears to be mingling with some of the more petty nobility.
I see.
He's a fairly recent addition to the court and has a bit of controversy tied to him, as he's not from any particular noble family. He actually rose up as a simple secretary, effectively a servant to one of the older chancellors, who has not yet died or retired, but is considered to be entering the late stage of their tenure, perhaps the last few years or so before they remove themselves from the life or simply pass away. And there's a lot of the girls are really expressing either they're kind of arguing over either disdain or the sort of or some excitement over the dangerous romantic opportunities he provides, as he is quite handsome. And these ladies are quite into the game of gossip, and so they're largely remarking over his physical qualities or his upbringing.
Okay. So, with all that, after long enough to seem appropriate, he will disengage and kind of step out of the dancing in the interior of the room. And assumedly bumping into Madeline.
Yes, she will just she's not making a big fuss of herself. Well, at least less so than she would normally do in a gathering of K-Knights. She comes over and just nods her head. She just says, "Hope the evening is faring you well."
Possibly.
Tell me, how do you have any servants present? Servants who are bound to you?
Some.
I have noticed a few. And that
And?
woman, and she will indicate the woman. She will describe the woman she saw.
Do I know this person?
No. Actually, make me a I have to be up here real quick. Make me a wits. No, it'd be intelligence politics roll to remember.
You might just know this person.
Possibly. Don't think it's one of mine, though.
It could be someone else in the court, or it might be the prince's school. Who knows?
Many possibilities.
Rise, rise, rise.
No, that's my kind of party.
The what? What kind of? Oh, I come to rise.
Yes.
Rise, rise. Take the land that must be taken. Rise, rise. Awaken, awaken, awaken. Take the land that must be taken. Awaken, awaken. Forsaken.
Apologies for the brief interlude.
I command you to rise, rise. He has 2 successes. He knows things.
He knows things. Okay, so I'm gonna sneeze.
Gesundheit. And once more, Gesundheit.
You understand this woman to be
I think he's BRB at the moment. Just
did he have BRB as well? Okay.
No, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, you okay, so Peter. You understand this woman to be Lady Orbellion. You can't remember her first name, it's rarely stated. But you do know her to be Lady Orbellion, the mother of the expected successor to her husband, who very rather oddly abdicated his own responsibilities and rule over the household, instead deciding to spend what remained of his life in a convent somewhere in Western Europe. She's actually quite a fairly powerful figure in court right now, and is expected to remain that way for some time, as even when her son does take control. She's currently serving as the head of a household during the transitional period. The court very much expects her to have a great deal of sway over her son, and she is now being given also a renewed opportunity to remarry, granting her even more political opportunities. She's also fairly youngish. She's like in her late 30s. Somewhat old by the standards of the Dark Ages, but nonetheless.
I do believe that is the matriarch of House Orbelian. Not one of mine.
well, she is someone's. Perhaps I should ask her.
If you wish.
But that is not why I wish to speak. You see that man, and she will just indicate him. You'll probably stand out a little. That man. He is of some significance, I am sure. People seem to respect his word by the way they are talking. She leans in. There is something different. I have not seen an aura like this. It is like it has been ripped to 1,000 pieces. Shredded, shifting. Very hard to distinguish. It is definitely different. Do you wish to speak with him, or should I?
Perhaps you should. You have more insight into the ways of Ors than I.
Very well.
We'll go speak with the other woman.
I see. And before she goes, she would just say, remember, it might be a respected member of the court. But of course, if you wish to inquire as to her status, I will not. Please, forget my careless words, my sheriff. And she will begin to move closer to the man.
You begin to head closer to the gentleman in question. You get spotted out quite quickly due to your extremely high appearance.
Mm-hmm. She won't directly say anything. She would just watch for the moment, unless she's talked to, of course.
Yeah, how close are you to him? Like, do you approach him? Because if you approach him, there's some sort of social expectation of interaction.
No, she won't walk directly up to him. She will just, perhaps join some of the people standing around and just watch and listen for a moment or two.
He's actually quite enchanting. He's very soft-spoken. He's quite humble. He accommodates the crowd the best he can, but and he's quite good at dealing with critical insinuations, largely regarding his upbringing and birth. He seems to be dealing with his fair share of prejudice, but handles it with a great deal of grace and humor. Usually distilling it into a joke of some sort. But he acts in no way inferior.
If nothing else, Madeline respects this.
He doesn't. He doesn't allow the insinuations of various envious nobles to get in the way of his work or tarnish his reputation. Heavens, no.
What seems to be his work in general?
He seems to be an advisory and administrative figure to the Regency, usually signing off on specific documents, decrees, and laws, formalizing them as the Regent's will. In many ways, he serves as one of the Regent's voices. As a signature from him, in many ways, is a signature of the Regent.
Is his name mentioned?
Yes. People largely refer to him as Chancellor Bolos. I'll actually put it. He does appear to be natives to the city. Although his skin is a lighter shade than most, you expect he's he has something of a dual lineage to him.
Ah, okay. Fair enough.
Crusaders came in, maybe mingled with the populace.
Heathens.
The heathens.
But she stands there and watches. And she's going to have a closer, specific look at him. Even though now that she's closer, and she's going to look at him, and I have perception, empathy for the role. That is great. And difficulties. Wow. Yeah, she doesn't see anything. It's only a fail. But
Yeah, he's very hard to read, but you can tell he notices you.
as in just spots me out of the crowd, or just like his head snaps and so goes and looks at me?
It's kind of like noticing you out of all the people who are kind of listening to him. He will take a moment out of his conversation simply to approach you and say, "And who is this unsung angel? Come, please. The crowd is not for you."
Thank you for your kind words.
He does the whole bow, ultra gracious, very courteous, very very sort of chivalrous etiquette.
She bows very very, or curtsies very very deeply, and just says, "Your words do me too much honor. I can claim to be many things, but an angel. Perhaps only by my looks." And she smiles.
Au contraire, my dear. You have clearly been blessed indeed. Come, join us.
Well, thank you.
Do not fret among for the very many of us here. We do not bite.
That is good to know. And she is about to say something that she would say in certain instances, but she holds her tongue. I can join the conversation as much as I can, but please do not let me disturb your discussions.
It is quite all right. The evening's engagements have put me in the sun for far longer than I deserve.
You are deserving of much, as a man of such high standard is.
I am suited to the desk, but not the stage. I'm afraid.
Well, on the contrary, I would say that you do well in this. You seem to stand out from the crowd. People hang on your words.
Not mine. The Regent's. I merely act in his service.
If I did not know better, the two of us was having a humility competition. He smiles.
Trust me when I say I do not believe I could compete with you on any particular matter. unless it is the nature of form filling. But I do not believe that is something that many consider particularly engaging.
Well,
Nor is it a worthy topic of conversation.
perhaps not. Would you do me the honor of taking a short walk with me?
Why, it would be my pleasure. He will go arm in arm with you and just say to the rest of the crowd, "Please excuse me." And yeah.
Meanwhile,
I suppose that Gerard goes and speaks with the woman.
She is quite busy. She actually spends more of her time with her family than with people outside of it. But yeah, it's no trouble for you to approach her. She sees you on approach.
Yes. Gerard
Is
does
there
Gerard does the etiquette thing, you know.
the etiquette thing? What are your guys' etiquette anyway?
Deece.
dos.
You're all two.
No, I have a 3.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're very polite then. Madeline, a little bit less so, but enough.
And if she is able to be approached, he will,
Cheers.
you know, do whatever is proper for her station. And
She will simply ask, "Oh my, whatever is no, I completely forgot what I was going to say." She doesn't.
good evening, my lady.
"Oh mine, what is this pleasure?"
I thought it pertinent to introduce myself to one so esteemed. And he does so.
Does he say he's like Gerard, or what does he call himself?
Yeah, sure.
I'm Drad of Tours. Drad the second of Tours. You may know my father, Drad the first of Tours. That
Something like that.
Noble lineage. Prestigious dad.
Rolled out on some damn fool crusade out here.
Well, I am a Lady Abellion of the House Abellion. Is there anything I can help you with this evening?
I simply wish to meet you face to face and express my my pleasure that you have rebounded so well from your family's recent troubles.
Yes, my husband's departure has proven itself as troubling to the city as tragic as it was for us. We all miss him dearly. She is lying.
Well, you know about Gerard and his perception empathy.
She's so she's clearly moved on a bit because it's been a while, but she's still like saddened by the mention of it. It's definitely a downer to talk about.
Well, I'm certain that brighter days are well on the way.
I can only hope that my son is up to the legacy that my husband left for him, but I am simply glad that I may be here to witness and guide his ascension.
Is your son here, I wonder?
Currently not, no. Unfortunately, the rigors of his ascension have put him to an early slumber, I'm afraid.
Most unfortunate. I should have liked to meet him.
Oof. And she failed that subterfuge check, so you could actually roll that one. Oh my god!
The impossible has happened.
Once in a blue moon, Gerard will spot something awry. Yeah, she's a little bit defensive out there. She doesn't come across as a bit protective. And the line feels a bit rehearsed.
I do apologize. I did not mean to give offense.
Oh, none was taken. Alas, I'm afraid my dear son is not available this evening. But perhaps another time.
Most certainly. I should like to have an eye on the up-and-comers within the city. He's also going to kind of take a look around and sort of see who her entourage is. She said she's kind of sticking close to all of them.
Her entourage are merely other members of her family.
Just to sort of see if anybody sticks out.
Yeah, I mean, some appear to be retainers of some kind, but it appears a young woman, maybe her daughter, maybe a niece or cousin, and what would appear to be one of her sons. She has two, if I recall.
Well,
The oldest and younger.
Fortunately, by the grace of God, the worst is yet to pass. There was a time when some perhaps had slipped from their faith.
I had heard of a congregation that had been excommunicated from the church recently, a few months ago, if I recall. You are quite right. It appears during these days and nights, our faith is tested to its breaking point, and disappointingly, it seems many below our station lack the discipline and piety to see themselves through the day.
A strong shepherd will always recall the flock should they stray too far. It is when the shepherd himself becomes corrupted that I begin to worry.
Now that would be most disturbing. Pray tell. I've not heard of any such case of any such thing occurring, but I would trust that each mother and father would know how to look after their own. To raise them with the discipline and rigor required to maintain such demanding duties.
So you've heard of nothing of the scourge of paganism affecting the nobility? That's good. It is always a worrisome thought.
It is, and I have no such patience for it. Such forms of ignorance belong well and truly in the past, not in the present day.
Agreed. Well,
But of
thank
course,
you for
if I do hear anything,
I would not call it an act of interest. Merely a curiosity.
but so often do curiosities become interests.
Only for those with time.
Very true. Perhaps if I should hear anything, have the utmost trust in one thought in particular to be able to resolve the situation in tandem with the appropriate authority figures.
Oh.
I'm sure the bishop would be quite interested in such concerns. It's always good to be vigilant.
As you say. I thank you
One
for your
can never
time.
be. Oh, and thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you.
And you. And Gerard slips away.
And Madeline, walking with, well, one of the regent's trusted advisors, and she will, as they begin to walk away, she will just ask, pardon my ignorance, but are you a completely self-made man, or do you hope that your family will become even greater in the coming years?
I can only hope that if my family is rewarded for their service, but I would not dare to seek to abuse my position for their privilege. It would go against every tenant's law and tradition that I uphold.
What was that role?
Oh, that was a roll to lie. He got 4 successes.
Empathy, perception, empathy. And the one before with 0 successes?
Oh, that was something else. You don't know about that.
Okay. I have a specialty in truths.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4. No? Yeah, no, you beat him by 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's overcompensating a little bit. It comes across as a bit suspicious.
But not much. It's just... So, you keep busy. Is your wife with you here? I wonder.
I am quite unmarried. Ashamed I am to say.
It's not that much of a shame. He smiles. It means that some of the thoughts I have do not transgress upon the bounds of marriage.
He'll take a moment to process the rather blunt overture. Where are they walking, by the way?
Walking to... Is there a balcony here? Then probably a balcony of some sort. He looks at him. As he's...
Oh, I doubt.
Go ahead.
Sorry. You do yourself so little credit, my lady.
I know. She looks at him. Her smile changes a little bit. Let us talk of other things. Tell me, what truly grasps your passions? What more than filling out forms, even though that might just rile you up in certain way? What truly drives your passions? What is it that is most important to you? And that question was a dominate. No, she's not going to spend blood on it. Nope, nothing. That's just a question. Never mind.
If you're dominating, you
Nope.
can roll D6.
Nope.
No, you're not.
I'm just asking. You'll probably say something like, true passions, regardless of gender, position, says much more about the person. Would you not agree?
There is much in this world that drives me. It has always been a driving goal of mine. Despite my circumstances. To see this city and the people within it blossom as they should. Frankly, I've been immensely humbled that I've been granted the opportunity at all.
This is what many great men through the ages, if the ages and the stories are to be believed, want. But there seems to be very many ways to getting there. I wonder, how do you think everyone would achieve this best? How would the city blossom the most? Surely you must have ideas.
Many indeed. Perhaps we could share our thoughts over dinner, say tomorrow evening. Just you and I.
A formal invitation. I would be very happy to accept this. But where? I wonder. With the curfew.
I own a small estate within the Nobles district. Perhaps we could meet there if it is to your liking.
It will be more than I am used to. I am sure I will be quite taken aback by it.
Surely someone as Butius as yourself has been justifiably granted every leisure and
Despite my
dignity life has to offer.
despite my earlier mm, demeanor and words, I tend to save certain things and use my time and effort where it really counts. I'm sure that there are many ways of looking at this, but while it is true I have seen some things and certain nobles and their quarters, I sense that you live up to your words and your demeanor quite well.
I believe you're winning the humility competition.
Well, thank you. Perhaps we can have one or more other competitions when you are taking me to dinner.
I can think of several.
I'll be looking forward to it.
He kind of leans in a little bit to kiss you.
She will let him. Um, how long does it last? Will she be
Oh,
able
not
to?
too long.
What?
Not too long.
Would she be able to feed on him?
Oh, yeah.
She will do that quickly and just taste his blood if anything sticks out.
Well, you don't have that one blood magic power, so no.
But she does administer the kiss. It will be super quick, and she will just make sure that there are nothing visible, no wounds licking it. As she just parts ways, she will just say, looks at him. Does he seem to be affected by it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. She smiles to him and just says, I will be looking forward to seeing you again. Is there anything I should know to gain entrance, or
I shall arrange everything for you.
thank you? He smiles. And she will just stand there for a moment, look at him, just smile, enjoy the moment for a little, but she will just say, I do believe some of the others are wishing me back. I should make myself known and seen.
Indeed, I'm sure the crowd misses you greatly.
I must. I must try my very best to please as many people as possible. At least at a gathering like this. But I do know your name, but your first name I Bulios, correct? Surely you have more than one name. She asks him if he has a
Sharif.
Sharif. Okay. I am pleasantly surprised. It is a good and fitting name. Well, Sharif, I will be seeing you very soon. She is given directions to this place, yes?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And
He'll basically
Madeline,
meet up with you later during the night.
what? Sorry?
He'll basically meet up with you later during the night during the ball.
Oh, he will?
Yeah. And
Okay.
basically tell you.
Yeah, Madeline hits back after a little. And yeah, she will probably swing by the matriarch. Just to see if everything's all right. She won't talk to her or anything. She'll just pass by, maybe smile, nod at her. And she will she'll just look around to see if everything is there anything like she will just see if there is like what do you call it? Is there like groups forming? Is it clearly that there are certain like obviously people are mingling between families, but is it like there are certain groups forming?
Yeah, there are cliques active,
Yeah, something like that.
mainly between families and their elders and youngers and the like.
Fair enough. Yeah, Madeline is gonna have another look just because. For suspicious eyes, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes this time.
Again, you have to filter through everybody else's auras. And
Hmm.
they range the full gamut from joyful to hatred, but you do spot another another aura that is that is torn up. One of the maids.
Is she just of the house, or does she seem to belong to a... Like, is it a retainer of some sort that's tending to one house's members?
Yeah, she seems to be tending to house. Let me double check who it was again. Dopian.
Dobian.
Rivals to House Orbellion and have largely been superseded by them at this point.
And when you say superseded, that means like within... Well, you would need noble knowledge for that. Never mind.
House Orbellion is basically winning the feud between them pretty substantially. It's basically
Opium or Opian?
Dopian. It's on the forums. Go.
It's just stupid Gerard writing other things. Go away.
Yeah, bad drug, go away.
Madeline will keep an eye on the maid, see if she is just minding her own business, or if she seems more present than others, or sticks out more than a maid should. If there's anything remarkable.
Her aura is shredded, but you do see a slight spark of life energy to it. It sparkles a little bit, or it sparks.
She makes a mental note of that. In fact, would it be something that would be like really noticed, or would it just be completely normal if someone goes over and talks to a maid or a servant?
Other than to make a demand, yes, it would be considered highly strange.
Yeah. Damn it.
It would be even stranger for the maid. Like, the maid would be like, what? What are you doing? Was it? Wait.
Madeline will try to find Gerard once more.
Gerard is around.
And she will just mention that this other noble house has a maid where the aura has the same characteristics, but she will mention that servants in general can be anyone and everything. And
It should be noted, I say this aura, it's not readable, but it's different in that Bolos had an aura that was somewhat shredded. This one looks bloodied.
She will just say, "This is a maid." Perhaps it would be possible for us to talk to her without, well, when it is not in such settings as these. If we were to speak with her in a normal day when she is not serving, perhaps it would be easier, and perhaps it would not be that much of a trouble to ask her certain things she might have noticed strange about her life compared to others.
A reasonable course of action.
Will you take such arrangements?
I think perhaps it would be better if you did. After all, my bearing and yours are very different in the noble court.
Quite so. I will inform you if I need some pointing in direction.
I
Speaking of
will.
directions, the clerk of the regent has asked me to come to dinner to meet him alone.
I see.
She will explain Gerard where this is. She leans in. His blood did not taste different, and he reacted normally. But I do not believe we should take any chances. I should go, but perhaps a friend nearby would not be amiss.
I'll see what I can do.
She moves away again. Actually, she will go over to the matriarch, and she will just. She was quite sure that this was a ghoul, right? By the aura, she's seen ghoul auras before.
Sorry, you head over to the matriarch of House Rebellion?
Yeah.
As she kind of looks up to you, she's busy talking with her daughter.
She is a ghoul, right?
Do you use aura perception on her?
I did before.
You did before, yeah, that's right, you did. Yes, she is.
Okay. She just smiles at her, waits for her to finish.
Well, she turns to you. Is there anything I can help you with, madame?
I am merely curious. I have not seen you before in other circles than this. We all have people we care of, and people who care a great deal for us. People that we work with and for. You help your children like any good mother, above and beyond what most mothers do as far as I can see, which does you great credit. But there is someone that you care about quite a lot, but someone you did not mention. Do not worry yourself. I am well aware of such arrangements. She is whispering. I merely wish to hear who your dominator is. Do not worry, there is no problems. I am merely curious.
Madame, actually, Madame, I'm afraid we have not even been introduced.
Quite so. I apologize. My name is Madeline.
You, of course, I'm sure know who I am. Unfortunately, I have no idea of what you speak of, and unfortunately, my time at this ball tonight is coming to a close, so I'm afraid you'll have to excuse me.
Look at me.
Have a good evening.
And
She immediately turns away and then kind of like I kind of claps to her hands, to her daughter and son and her retainers, and they'll kind of turn to her and they begin walking off. It's quite brisk, quite fast.
so very interesting. Madeline looks too, smiles over to Gerard, looks after them, looks at him.
Is she asking permission?
It looks like it.
Gerard just gestures. And go. You do your thing.
Yeah. Madeline will. They're leaving this place, right?
They are leaving.
Well, they're just going to go back to the noble house. Yeah, Madeline's going to follow them. But she's going to give them space, and she is going to. She's going to see where they go, but she is going to keep a distance. She's not going to want or need to hear what they say.
Oh, they're just taking their carriage and leaving the area.
Okay, this is going to work at some point. Madeline is going to spend 3 blood points, turn into shadow, and she's going to sneak under their carriage.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Wait. There would be guards everywhere, right?
She does have an escort at the back and front, yeah.
Yeah, then
Only
I
a small
can't do
one.
it.
Only like about 4 people total.
And it's so dark outside. You can really see a shadow.
Well,
God damn you, Gerard. Now you're going to make me do it. Dex stealth, right?
it's dex stealth, yeah. I'm gonna roll for these mofos. Roll for that guy. Well, he failed miserably. Oh, okay. Minus 2 successes from that guy. He should have only had 4 dice, so he only gets 2 successes.
I'm going to spend a willpower this time.
Okay. Oh, hey, you do it.
Fucking finally. 4 successes. So yeah, okay. So I actually would have, even with 4, I would have done it because defender wins. Anyways, Madeline is under the carriage. And she's going to see where the carriage drives off to. Because she has a suspicion.
It returns to the estate of House Rebellion.
Do they seem to
It'll
be in a
take-
rush to get home? Like, do they just sprint out of the place?
They're not sprinting out of a place, although they do ride off fairly quickly.
What is this place like? Is it like, does it have just its own walls and shit?
Yeah, it's fairly large. Guards everywhere.
Of course.
About rolling around in packs of 3 too. Don't look to be city watch though. Employed by the estate itself. Employed by obviously the house that they're guarding. By the family.
Yeah.
It's not too different from other estates. Actually, no, it looks a bit better than other estates because this family has gotten some income recently. So the garden actually looks beautiful. Looks well tended to. There's a gardener out right now. It's a very large estate. There's a fairly sizable servant's house. They will be sleeping. And there is also actually, I think that's it.
Yeah, Madeline's not gonna fuck around with someone's ghoul. Even though it's probably the Infernalists and everything, and I've just made a huge target on me. That's fine. Madeline is gonna get out there. She's gonna sneak past the guards or wait until there is a hole. Gonna out.
Yep, that's no problem.
Yeah, and she's gonna head back. And I think that the meeting should be done in another scene. I don't know if what people are time-wise.
Yeah, it's best.
I think would that be a decent place to end the scene?
I do believe so.
Cool.
Good. Thank you very much, players for playing, watchers for watching, ST for STing, and no botching in a really horrible way. That's great. Goodbye.